World Series, which was the case. And we are underway game 2 from Tiger Park with the wind pretty much blowing straight in. It's hard enough to hit home runs in this pitcher's park, and unlikely today, although LSU did hit one out last night. Flags are pretty much straight back at us. On occasion, they will turn and blow towards the left field line.
They are very gusty. It's going to definitely affect the game. Pop-ups. Pitchers in the circle have to be able to throw with that wind at your back. Try to keep from throwing through your spins.
Yeah, you can hear the wind blowing on our microphones around the park as well. Audrey Vandegrift is one that Alabama wants on base. Leads the country in swipes, and it's a 4-pitch walk, and she is a green light the second she walks into the ballpark.
That's the 50th walk of the year given up by the freshman, Heavner. A lot of great movement on her pitches, but has to really continue to learn to control that strike zone.
Vandegrift thinking about going. 45 for 50 on the season. Macy Bajaran behind the plate has thrown out 1 of 8 so far on the season. First time that Vandegrift over at first base gets a look at the other freshman in the circle, Heavner, while on board, as the number 2 hitter Larissa Pruitt steps in. Junior out of Hartselle, Alabama. They only mustered 4 hits in game 1 last night, got shut out, and a run rule win for LSU.
Berzon's really strong in the circle against Alabama. A lot of drop balls.
That's the swing and miss there.
And it's a nice backdoor curveball in the inner half that Heavner will throw against those lefty hitters of Alabama.
2-2. And gets the strikeout of Pruitt, 1 down.
A really good job of expanding the zone. So the setup pitch is on the inner half of the backdoor curveball. This is now a curveball in the outer half, and you can see just the way Pruitt is almost backing out, thinking it might be inside, realizing it's a curveball away, and just cannot catch up to it.
That'll bring up Callie Hevlin. Hitting .367 over the last 10 games with an OPS of over 1,000 for the senior out of Michigan. Tide coming in at 4-6, 12th place in the SEC. LSU in 3rd right now. They are even in the loss column with Texas A&M and Oklahoma sitting right behind Texas. Longhorns in first place in the league, also number 1 in the nation in the polls this week. Up and in at Hevlin. This weekend and next, the midway point in the SEC, depending on when your bye week is. And then it is downhill towards the SEC tournament, which will be in Athens this year. And with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas, all 15 teams will go. The top 4 seeds get a double bye, and 5 through 9 get a single bye. As Hevlin draws the walk, so 2 free passes. And Patrick Murphy has a runner in scoring position early. They fell behind 3-0 in the first inning last night. Murph looking for a little different outcome now in his 27th season with the Tide, anchored by that 2012 national championship, which was the first in SEC history. And here's Abby Duchscher. 15 pitches so far, Smitty, only 5 of them for strikes.
Yeah, Hevner's been having a little bit of a issue trying to control the strike zone and command those pitches. A lot of great late sharp movement, just trying to find the dial on it all.
Duchscher skies that one out of play. Pretty good crowd on hand, considering they moved the game time just this morning up 2 hours to try and beat the storm that is headed this way tonight. Heavy rains expected. 0-2 pitch from the freshman. Duke sure doesn't chase. Abby's hit 3 home runs in her last 10 games. In fact, 3 of her 6 hits over that stretch have left the building. Chase is after the rise, so this is Hefner in a nutshell, Smitty.
It is.
2 strikeouts and 2 walks.
It really is, but she's got late, sharp movement. Look at this rise ball. It's going to get up at the shoulders and then come up to the eyeballs. And Dukeshire, her head's pulled out, not even close to seeing where that pitch is located, upper part of the zone, and gets the swing and miss. And that really is, as you mentioned, Beth, that's Jaden's game.
So it will fall to Brooke Elstead to try and get Bama on the board early. The transfer from Louisiana. 0-2 last night. She did pick up 3 hits in their Georgia series, which was an Alabama series win. Lays off the rise at 66 miles an hour, 2-1.
Hebner's going to be in the mid to high 60s. She'll dial it up towards 70 miles an hour, but typically rise ball pitchers live the best at that 66, 68 mile an hour range.
And now 2-2.
Freshman does a good job also of hiding that ball behind her back. A lot of lefties do that. Tough for both righties and lefties to see it.
Fun for LSU fans, too. For the first time this century, they are watching a left-handed pitcher at Tiger Park. It's been almost exclusively righties the entire LSU softball history. They've had some really good ones. Out to shallow right, left center, and coming on to make the catch is Lassiter. Leads things off. Danica may be in the conversation for Player of the Year honors when all is said and done. 9 hits in her last 9 games, scored 8 times, driven in 7.
She was a huge blow last year when she was injured early on in the season, but back now healthy. Just great leader defensively at third base and that leadoff position.
5th year out of Richwood, Texas, was 2 for 2, scored a couple of times in last night's win. And as Beth Torino was telling us this week, it's pretty much accepted all up and down their dugout that it is Danica's team. A tremendous leader, both vocally and by example. And in that leadoff spot, she's their tone setter, night in and night out. Draws the walk to lead things off.
And that's one area that Brisky is going to have to work on as well. 48, that is her 49th walk of the season, but a lot of talent in the circle. Brisky's got great late sharp movement on that drop ball. Really just dives off the table. She has the ability also to mix speeds and then a rise ball to really create separation at the lower half of the zone to the top half of the zone. Mid-60s, it's that drop on both sides, but again, has to limit those free passes that have really hurt her.
And now a wild pitch to get Coffey into scoring position.
Well, and that's the other part of controlling the game. It's not just the free passes, it's also the wild pitches that then give up additional 60 feet that put runners into scoring position.
And quickly a chance for Jayla Lassiter, who hit a home run last night, a 2-run shot. And a chance to get LSU in front. Tigers went 4 for 9 in the series opener with runners in scoring position. off the glove of Elistad at third. Coffey trying for third base, and they had her in time, but the ball squirted free. And on the play at third, Lassiter able to take second.
Well, this ball goes off of Elistad's glove at third base. Probably a ball that needs to be handled a little cleaner. You can see she's off the bag, so this is a perfect situation to be able to look the runner back at the out at first. But a good job by Hawkins to pick this up. The throw comes in, and then again the ball pops out of Elistad's glove. So opportunity to get Coffey here coming into third, but the ball is dropping. A good job by Lassiter to continue up and get to second base. So runners at second and third now, no outs for LSU, who has been very aggressive on the base pass this year.
They're going to score that a single, and then it does not appear that there was an error on Elistad at third for not catching the throw cleanly to tag Coffey.
I think you could clearly almost have said there's two errors on that play. Those are plays that Elistad can absolutely make. The ball off the glove and then the catch coming in from Hawkins.
So two in scoring position, nobody out for Bajaran. She is fabulous with runners in scoring position. 469 on the season for Macy. Out of Rayne, Louisiana. Got robbed of a home run by Lauren Johnson out in left field last night. Lauren made a heck of a catch to bring it back into the field. Oh, let's check out the rob job from game one last night.
Just doing such a great job going back to the wall and making that massive catch. Look at the way she times that perfectly. Goes up well above the wall. That is a huge get for Johnson.
Macy does have 8 home runs on the season, but as we talked about at the start of the game, the wind is whipping and it's coming in at the hitters today. Brisky's got her hero too. Misses away.
Well, this is the part of LSU's offense that has just been super explosive. Situationally, they've done a great job. Not a lot of home runs on the year, just 33, but have gotten it done situationally.
Bajaran blasts that one deep down the line in foul territory, and that actually does clear the fence as Johnson gave chase in foul territory. So maybe the wind has shifted a little bit, blowing towards that left field foul pole. Jocelyn started out the season 1-5 against some really tough competition, including UCLA and Oklahoma State. Bounced back nicely after that, but Bama has lost her last 4 starts. And now she and Bajaran involved in a 10-pitch AB.
Bajaran just so good in that 3-hole. She's got power. She hits for average.
Full count.
And this is an LSU team that hits 601 with runners at second and third with less than 2 outs. This is the situation you want right now if you're an LSU fan. That batting average drops a little bit, bases loaded. As a team, they hit 371.
Fabulous fight here from Macy. Especially with that youngster on deck. Tori Edwards has already smashed 3 grand slams this year. Is she going to get a chance at another? 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, and they will be loaded for Edwards. What an at-bat.
Second walk of the inning given up by Brisky, and so Lance McMahon is going to come out and have a little bit of a chat.
Starting pitcher last night, Emily Winstead, did not make it out of the first inning, as LSU was able to put up a 3 spot.
situation here for the defense of Alabama to try to turn a double play home to first. 24 double plays on the year for this Alabama defense. They are doing a good job defensively in that manner. Tried to cut the errors down, but they've done a good job at turning doubles.
Caitlin Riley is already up in the bullpen for Alabama. Here is Tori Edwards with the bases loaded. Nine runs batted in her last 9 games for the freshman out of Flower Mound, Texas.
Umpires telling Brisky to just gonna have to separate her hands. And now Beth Torino's calling timeout. I think what she's saying is now if she brings her hands together and separates it and doesn't deliver the ball, is that an illegal pitch?
She wanted a 1-on-1 count. It will stay 0-1. And now 1-1. Heck of a play by Giles to snag that pitch.
Yeah, Giles really nimble behind the plate. Brisky dialing it up to 71 miles an hour these last couple pitches. And look at the way that Giles is set up almost low and in. That pitch goes up and away.
Another one up and out.
Little extra gas from Brisky trying to get it past Edwards.
Two and one. And now 3-1. A couple of walks, a single, a wild pitch, what could have been called an error defensively on Alabama, and a shaky start for the Tide. Edwards chops that one to short. Hawkins' only play is to first. Duke makes the scoop, and a run is in for LSU as Coffey scores.
Yeah, that was a high hopper. Not a lot that the defense for Alabama can do with that. Edwards gets down the line well, so she's going to get a put out, but picks up an RBI, first run of the game.
Here's Mackenzie Rudity with still 2 in scoring position. Out of Franklin, North Carolina, 4th-year starter. Was 2 for 3 last night with an RBI.
I think Rudity thought she was going to get plucked on that one. You could see she kind of tucks in, turns, and is like waiting for it to hit her. And right now, Brisky's drop's a little bit elevated. She's hanging on to that pitch a little bit too long up across her body. And you can look at the walks. So 30 last year and 105 inning pitches, already up to 49 on the, actually, it's elevated. That was before this game even started. So 50 walks.
Her shortest start is 2 innings in a loss to Mississippi State.
Well, this is an interesting game, too, because Brisky is all down. Lower part of the zone.
That's a 4-pitch walk, Smitty. That's the 3rd one of the inning. The pitch count is already at 30. Now Patrick Murphy is out of the dugout, and he's looking down at his bullpen, and is he going to make a change already?
Hebner for LSU is more up in the zone. Brisky's all down in the zone. It really comes down sometimes to the umpire strike zone. Chris Neighbors, is he more of a low ball ump, high ball ump? I think both these pitchers trying to find that strike zone this afternoon.
So Caitlin Riley, who started in the lineup tonight as the DP, will come on to pitch. And for Jocelyn Brisky, just a third of an inning, 30 pitches. And she leaves with the bases loaded. Riley's the righty senior out of Dandridge, Tennessee, transferred in from Ole Miss. 8-1 on the season with a 2.63 ERA.
Yeah, and Riley's very similar to Brisky in the fact that they throw the lion's share of their pitchers in the lower half of the zone. The key, though, is just the 23 walks on the year. It's going to be all about controlling the zone, trying to roll some ground balls here so that their defense can do some work and pick up some outs. She's about 60% drop balls, but really can move the ball around as well. You can see that rise ball at the top of the zone, ability to go downstairs, outside, arm side as well, inside to righties. Really a great number of pitches, different locations in the zone. A lot of good late sharp movement, mid-60s, but again, it's that drop ball and rise ball combination. She throws a little bit more changeup as well with that off-speed drop. But this is definitely a situation, Beth, where she's going to need to try to roll a ground ball and let that defense pick up their 25th double play of the year.
She's got wins on the resume already this year against Washington and Ohio State, Texas A&M, Georgia. And here's Savannah Bedell, who is trying to lock down the designated player role in the lineup. She's been swinging a good bat of late. In fact, hitting .500 over the last 9-game stretch, and rarely has a swing and miss. So she is one to put it in play. 2 for 2 last night, drove in a run. And for the second time this first inning, LSU has the bases full. And just one hit. Right back to Riley. She'll make the play at home to get the force out, 2 down.
So this is a really good defensive play by Riley, knowing that there was no one at first. Her only play literally was going to be at home. Take a look here, because first base comes in Dukeshire. There is nobody at first. If she's like, hey, I might not have the timing, great job by Riley to know she's got to come home. Keep LSU even more so off the board.
And a chance here with 2 down for Sierra Daniel, who was a late addition to the starting lineup. Maddox McKee had been penciled in about a half hour prior, and then the change to Daniel, and she will ground out as LSU time. In fact, they've been for the last 5 years, but they lost their best pitcher and they lost their best hitter from a year ago as they try and rebuild it around some new faces.
Their offense is very much improved, but it's really been some struggles in the circle with the free passes, the defensive errors that really hurt them this year. But you have to love the fact that Coach Murphy said, hey, this year is all about redemption and the power of the word yet. And the power of the word yet was last year. He's like, we have not played our best softball yet.
Yep.
First time they ever had a losing season in the SEC conference, right, in the conference.
Yep.
But then the magic appears in regionals, super regionals, and they punch their ticket to the Women's College World Series.
They went to Knoxville and shocked Tennessee last year in the Supers. 6, 7, and 8 coming up for the Tide. Dodged a big inning in the first, allowing LSU to score just once. The Tigers left the bases loaded. Heavner in the first inning for LSU, a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts, and here we go again with a 3-2 count.
Heavner with the body language wanting that pitch on the outer half. It's just off the plate on the arm side.
And a called strike 3 gets Riley her third. 1 down.
Jaden Heavner just has such great late sharp break on her pitches. She's going to bring it on the outer half, that rise ball up and out of the zone, fouls off a pitch that comes back underneath, rise ball again back out of the zone, but Heavner continues to battle. Pitch on the outer half she wants, doesn't get it, and then goes back on the inner half with that curveball and picks up the strikeout.
There's Marley Giles. Gets the start as the catcher today. Junior out of Clinton, Alabama. Was a 300 hitter last year for the Tide. Still trying to find her way in SEC play this year.
And that rise ball, and Jaden gets underneath of that pitch just a little bit more and digs down deep behind her body. That pitch is going to be outstanding. Right now it's just a little bit non-competitive because it starts too high. But she can blend those two pitches. So the pitch prior is a rise ball that is easily identified, not swung at. That pitch is a lower pitch. It's a curveball, so it's got a little bit different spin. Outer half picks up the strike on the outer half.
2-2. And another full count. LSU is relying on her to be the 1-2 punch with Berzon. They are throwing the majority of the innings, getting all the starts. It's the fourth 3-ball count, and that's the third walk issued by Hefner.
Some of the struggles of being a young pitcher is trying to figure out the strike zone, trying to figure out your pitches, where's your release point, what will hitters swing at, what will they watch. It's all part of that maturity that happens in the circle.
Here's Salem Hawkins, who's taken over at shortstop for Alabama. It's going to be a swinging strike, even though I think it was defensive trying to dodge out of the way.
Yeah, now this is the pitch that has so much movement. You can just see the way that Hawkins is not going to be able to identify this pitch, and then when she does, it's coming right up toward her head. So that ball just moving across the plate and coming up to her eyes.
And that one hits off the knob of the bat. Out of Phoenix, Arizona, hitting .280 on the season. Fights off another pitch up and in.
Well, and that's really what Jaden is all about. I mean, she has that upspin, that typical ability for lefties to just spin that ball in a different direction, obviously, than righties. Different look for the hitters, both right and left.
And another punch out, so a couple caught looking. 2 down.
Again, she hides that ball, even from righties. Very good behind her back. This is a curveball in the outer half. We call that a backdoor curveball because it's actually curving back around the zone, starting in the river, trying to hit the backside or the back door of the strike zone. Second pitch, second strikeout with that pitch this inning.
This is a wacky scorecard, Smitty. Walk, strikeout, a fly out. Now strikeout, walk, strikeout. For those of you scoring at home with us on the interwebs today. Number 9 hitter is Lauren Johnson. She's got a hit in 7 of the last 9 as she has taken over in left field for the Tide. Wears that number 88 that her sister Jenna used to wear at Alabama.
And interesting enough, too, for this Alabama lineup, only 3 lefties in the lineup, 6 of the 9 right-handed. They should get a better look at Hefner, and they've done a good job of hitting lefties this year.
On-base percentage with 8 starters in that lineup, hitting over 300. Tarina and the Tigers hopeful that this is another World Series year. They've been 4 times under Tarina, a couple times prior to that under Yvette Girard.
One thing you always know about LSU is that they're going to have great pitchers in the circle, so they've done a good job. They've had All-American defenders behind those pitchers. It's really been the hitting aspect. Can they put enough runs up on the board? And this year, this is a team that just does a lot of things right. They may not always send it out of the yard, but they've got just a great mix of lefties. They've got power from some righties. They can run. They take a lot of walks as a team.
Oppo out to left for Avery Hodge, and a single for the number 9 hitter, and the second hit of the day for the Tigers.
Yeah, and just a lot of consistency, 1 through 9 in this lineup for LSU. And Hodge in the 9 hole has just been outstanding. This is a pitch, it's elevated, it's outside, but she doesn't care. She goes and gets it, dumps it the opposite way, and that's all you can ask for, especially from your 9 hitter who's hitting 386 coming into the day to roll over the lineup.
Coffey walked and eventually scored the game's only run, her first time up. Hitting .569 with runners on base.
And that's where LSU is just really good this year. They are productive with their outs, their situational hitters with runners on, runners in scoring position, just really good numbers, and that has translated to numbers, big numbers put up on the scoreboard. Anytime they score more than 5 runs, they win a game. So, and that's just a testament to their pitching staff as well.
Oh, what a snag by Lance McMahon, a former manager here at LSU. Hears it from the crowd. Look at trying to play cool.
You know his hand stings a little bit. Absolutely. This ball is just roped right at him.
Woo! Woo!
Pitch on the outer half is going to...
Calls the strike 3 on Coffey.
Get Coffey looking.
2 down.
Pitch on the inner half. Coffey's stepping out, but that's a drop ball in the inside corner. You don't see that very often. It's just the 9th strikeout of the year, Coffey.
First strikeout for an Alabama pitcher today. Here's Jayla Lassiter. And backhanded by Hawkins, and that'll scoot out onto the grass and left. Second hit of the day for Jayla. Score that one a single. So 2 on and 2 out for Bergeron. Walked her first time up. LSU does not have a hit in 4 chances with a runner in scoring position here through the first couple of innings. Chances to bust this thing open.
That's a pitch Caitlin Riley throws so well. A little bit of an off speed. It's got some upspin to it. It's hard to identify because it does spin so tight. And she'll come right back with that pitch at 68 miles an hour at that same sort of spin and rotation, and it's hard for your eyes to adjust to that.
First time that the top of the order is seeing Riley, who came on after Brisky threw to just 5 hitters in that first inning, and a called strike 3 back-to-back.
Well, the roll.
Audrey Vandergriff walked her first time up. Bama has had base runners in each of the first 2 innings. Courtesy of free passes, it's been almost all walks and strikeouts for Giefner.
Yeah, just 1 flyout. Everything else has been a K or a walk. That's what makes coaches' hair a little gray.
A little crazy. It's a swing and a miss there. Vandergriff had reached 26 games in a row until last night. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts in a shortened 5-inning game.
Curveball in the outer half just misses.
Patrick Murphy loves her work ethic. Has great potential.
Just so much talent.
Well, we talked about Tori Edwards, potentially Rookie of the Year in the league. Vandergriff also on the short list. Out of Bogart, Georgia.
45 stolen bases. Leads Division I. How about that? 5 stolen
5
bases
in one game. That's some running. Got her. Strikeout number 6 in the first 10 she has faced.
Well, she just knows how to elevate her pitches as well as expand the strike zone. So she'll go outside, but then this rise ball, it's moving on multiple planes. So it's not just moving up through the zone, it's also curving away from Vandegrift, who is left-handed. So she's got 10 swing and miss today, and that's because she has that really late, sharp movement coming out of that left side.
Here's Larissa Pruitt, a strikeout victim on a curveball her first time up. Trying to keep up with Hefner. Throwing it in the high 60s, has touched 70 a time or two.
Not a lot of off speed. She can throw it, but doesn't need to really use it.
Out to center, Lassiter under it, and drifting over to left, the wind pushing it that way, 2 down. So for Hefner, we said the first lefty this century. You got to go back to the pride of Binghamton, New York, and Julie Stashko, the last left-hander in the grainy black and white photo, Smitty.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way she's really getting behind her body as well. A lot of lefties do that. the grainy picture, I'm surprised. I thought we had some video of
Bringing
her.
Julie back, yeah.
I mean, what was that, late 90s? I mean, to think that you're looking at 26 years-ish
Yes.
since a lefty was in the circle, that is just mind-boggling. Especially when you look at the programs, I mean, like Oklahoma, that won the lion's share of their national championships with lefties.
Well, and this has always been known as a pitcher's park here, Tiger Park. Evelyn fouls it off. She walked her first time out. 6 strikeouts, 2 flyouts, and not a ground ball to be had so far.
Well,
LSU defense getting bored out there.
They are getting bored. They're yawning. You can see the middle infielders like, why are we here? Well, and part of that is simply because of the way that Jaden throws. I mean, she's got that disconnect from the ground, so she really gets underneath her pitches. You know, she's 5'6", but gets out to that 8-foot circle, so she's got great leg strength to be able to really drive off the pitching rubber.
Another full count. I believe that's the 4th. And now 6 3-ball counts. Rooted in foul territory, and that'll get into the dugout.
Wow. That started in right field. That's how far it blew.
That wind is something else today. Apparently it's been a very windy spring in Baton Rouge. Look at that. Evelyn gets a hold of one off the 3rd.
Well, and this is a perfect example of how hard she is, how hard she hits the ball, and how strong she is. This ball is probably coming off the bat at about 82 to 84 miles an hour. Anything struck over 80 miles an hour is elite at this level because it can just get past the infield. It doesn't matter if you hit it at him, you're going to hit it past him, and that's a perfect example. Hawkins, that's hit only 2 feet from her, but it gets past her just due to the velocity of that ball off the bat.
So Edwards aboard, and here's Mackenzie Rudity, walked in the 1st. They've already left 5 on base through the first couple of innings. They are 0 for with runners in scoring position. zone. 3-1.
Riley's still trying to blend those pitches together, just changing the velocities of them.
Did not hold up, full count.
I say that she went after this. Yeah, that's a good call. That breaks the plane.
Well, sun poking through the clouds now. Swing and a miss. Strikeout 3 for number Riley. Strikeout number 3 for Riley. One down.
Riley just really using that pitch well on the outer half. The lefties, that ball diving down, diving away. Late sharp break. Non-productive out. Needed that to keep Edwards at first.
Backhanded over to first. Nice play by Hevlin. 2 down, but Edwards into scoring position.
That's a great job by Hevlin. That is a tricky play going to get that. Take a look at where this ball is hit. It just gets over Dukeshire. Dukeshire, though, knowing she's got to go back to the bag, so hit right side. That allows Edwards to get up into scoring position.
That's the first ground out of the day. And with 2 outs, it's Sierra Daniel. Second time through now for this part of the order to face Riley.
So LSU, 6 lefties in a row, and then they've got their 3 righters in a row and 2, 3, and 4. So better be comfortable pitching to those left-handed hitters.
Daniel's a 300 hitter with 2 outs. She's a 400 hitter with runners in scoring position. Stick around, we'll be talking with Patrick Murphy. Next half inning. And right back to Riley. She'll take care of business in the lineup, those strikeouts, including Abby Dukeshire in the first. 4, 5, and 6. Coming up, it's righty-lefty, then 4 straight righties to face Hefner. Dukeshire. That is drifting out of play. Had a couple of base runners in the first, another in the second, and then a 1-2-3 inning for Hefner in the third. So that is 8 straight shutout innings for LSU pitchers after the 5-inning shutout last night in Game 1.
Well, and Hefner and Berzon just a really good mix, because Berzon is going to be heavy drop down. Over 60% of her pitches just working lower half of the zone.
Good scoop by Coffey. 1 down.
And then Hefner is mostly all up. That's the first ground out of the day for the LSU defense. Everything has been a strikeout or a fly out in the air up until that point.
Here's Brooke Elstead. And we have a pinch hitter here. Maddie Hubbard is hitting in the 5 spot in the lineup. 310 on the season. Tried to lay it down, 1-1. Out of Huntsville, Alabama. Went 1 for 2 in their midweek win over Alabama State. This is just her second at-bat in SEC play this year. Gets him another right-hander in the lineup. And lines it to Edwards, 2 down. And now it's Caitlin Riley. Struck out looking at a curveball in the second.
Evener starting to settle in. 3 walks, first time through the lineup, second time through the lineup here. She's doing a good job at controlling the zone, trying to work from ahead.
Has retired 7 in a row. And now 0-2 on Riley. Got Beth Torina coming up. Oh, looks like some raindrops falling. Little sun shower here in Baton Rouge. Trying to beat the storm that's set to roll into town tonight.
Yeah, a lot of weather in the southeast. Part of the reason why the flags are blowing so hard here this afternoon.
Fouls off the rise ball. Another one into the netting.
And this is where Caitlin Riley is just worth her weight in gold for Alabama, being able to be the DP to start the game, come in to pitch. Still have the ability to go back to Bursky if they needed to late in the game. Those hitting pitchers really have the ability to help open up the lineup cards for coaches.
Base knock, and the first of the day for Alabama, and the tying run is aboard. With 2 outs here in the 4th.
It's just a really good at-bat by Riley, just a patient, fouls off a lot of pitches, and starts out this at-bat 0-2, works her way back. It's a rise ball, elevated. It leaks back into the zone a little bit, and just a very explosive swing the way Riley turns on it. First base hit of the game for Alabama.
That'll bring up Marley Giles, walked in the second. Giles out to center, and last
limiting threats.
Leno grounded out to second base, her first time up. Three and one. Well, Pat Murphy alluded to the fact that we might see Brisky again. She struggled out of the gate, did not get through the first inning, but would be available to re-enter, and that is sliced out to left center all the way back to the wall, and Leno, the stand-up double.
Well, that's just great hitting by Leno, and gets herself in a very leveraged 3-1 count, looks for a pitch on the outer half and just barrels it up. Look at the way that her body is just angled for that pitch on the outer half. The lefty's going to let that ball travel, hits it on the inner half, and then drives it the opposite way. And that is just textbook hitting on a pitch on the outer half for left-handed hitters to go to that oppo gap. And with that great stride, easily going to be into second base with a leadoff double for Leno.
Yeah, hitting nearly 600 to lead off of an inning. That's terrific for the bottom of your order. So now both Their 8 and 9 hitters have hits today. That's the first extra base hit of the afternoon. And here's Avery Hodge, who singled in the second. Has a couple of national championship rings from her 2 seasons at Oklahoma. One and two. And a called strike 3. That's the 4th for Riley. One down.
Caitlin Riley not afraid to throw lefties on the inner half. Look at these drop balls just painted on that inner half. Giles, a really good job at getting low, framing that pitch and pulling it back up. It's a big non-productive out for Riley.
She only had 5 strikeouts looking coming into this game. 3 today, and that's dropped out into shallow center. And the throw comes to the plate instead of the cutoff at second base, allowing the base runner to get over into scoring position for Coffey.
Yeah, so Coffey goes to the outer half, is going to loop this in, and this is a ball that you know it's pretty clear that Leno is not coming in. You got to be able to hit your cut. In fact, it looks like Duchil's not in the cut position, late getting there, and because they do not hit the cut, that allows Coffey to move up to second base. And those are the little things we talk about with LSU this year. Very aggressive, picking up additional 60 feet.
So here comes Lassiter, has reached on an error and singled. Drops down the squeeze bunt, and it's a successful one. And she will dive into second base. 2-0 Tigers.
Well, this is a game where LSU is struggled a little bit with runners in scoring position. Why not try the suicide? You've got speed on third. The bunt goes down. Look how deep the defense is for Alabama. And you can just see the way that Hubbard at third is back. She needs to read the hands a little bit better. Dukeshire at first, late. You got to read the hands. So just reading the defense for Alabama, that was a great, great call for LSU to push that second big run across the board, especially while they've been struggling with those runners in scoring position.
3rd hit of the inning, and a run in, 2 more in scoring position, and here come the Smash Sisters, Bajaran and Edwards.
The other key on that as well is that Lassiter moves up to second base, right? Because they see the chaos. So again, pushing the envelope, getting that additional 60 feet, pick up the run, suicide squeeze, same situation, second and third.
Back to Riley. She checks the runner at third, gets the out at first. 2 down. And here comes Edwards. Drove in a run with a fielder's choice in the first and then a single in the third.
Well, it'll be interesting to see here with 2 outs if they pitch around her or put her at first with that base open, and that's probably what Patrick Murphy and Lance McMahon are going to come out and talk a little bit about. I think in this situation, you pass the bat,
yes.
make Rudity do something. Yep. And you never want your opponent's best hitter to beat you. I would say that Edwards right now is their best hitter.
Riley struck out Rudity the last time she faced her. Edwards has 21 2-out RBI this year.
Yeah, and that's the most on the team.
Yeah, Murph went out there with McMahon as pitching coach that time.
So there's 21 2-out RBI for Edwards. Rudity 13 2-out RBIs. Yeah, and you can see, look where Giles is set up. She's basically right through the left-handed batter's box, so they're not going to give Edwards anything that she can touch.
This would be the third time today that the bases have been loaded for LSU. Home fans disappointed. They're not going to see her swing. And so it will fall to Rudity.
Rudity having a good year. Much improved than previous years.
She had a home run midweek and the win over McNeese. 4 for 9 this season with the bases loaded.
And as good as Rudity has been this year to her previous years, you still have to make that decision.
Yeah. It's in for a strike. One. They missed out the first 3 times the bases were loaded. And right back to Riley, and she gets out of the jam. Scheduled for national television. Salem Hawkins here in the 5th for Alabama. 8-9 in the top, facing Jaden Heavner, who has allowed just 1 hit and has struck out 6. And make that 2 hits. Hawkins is aboard. Texas A&M took game 1 against Georgia today. They are tied in game 2. Mississippi State thrashing Tennessee in Knoxville after Tennessee won the opener last night. Ole Miss has beaten South Carolina. That series even at 1 apiece.
I think both Ole Miss and Mississippi State sneaky. You cannot count them out.
Texas leading Missouri 4-0 in the first. I mean, the SEC, come on. In the RPI, the top 5 teams, 8 of the top 10, 12 of the top 20. And every SEC team has an RPI in the top 30. Sacrifice bunt there from Lauren Johnson moves Hawkins over, 1 down. Top of the order coming up.
Well, and how about Florida number 1, South Carolina number 2, right? And then South Carolina, though, today losing to Mississippi. So that's the strength of the schedule. Mississippi's not even in the top 10, but you cannot count anyone out.
There will be conversations that all 15 teams could get in to the NCAA tournament. Well, just a matter of how you finish in the league, because you do have to have a 500 record.
Right, and so Beth, who the lower team like right now would be Missouri, but Missouri was the team that gave Oklahoma their first loss of the year, so it just shows the depth of this conference, the strength of every team, no matter where they are within the conference.
Arkansas was able to hang on in the 7th, so that game is going into extra innings. You can hear the winds continuing to blow on our microphones here in Baton Rouge. And the race is on to beat the storm that's a-coming. Audrey Vandegrift. Top 3 in the lineup have been on base twice. This their 3rd time through the order. 3-2.
That's a really good take by Vandergriff, who struck out on that pitch in her last at-bat. One of the things that Coach Murphy talked about, you got to be on time, lay off the rise. That was point number 2.
And draws the walk. This is just the 4th time in the series, so the 4th time in 9 innings that they have had a runner in scoring position. And now the tying run is aboard. The go-ahead comes to the plate. It's Larissa Pruitt. In this, the 92nd meeting of these two rivals. LSU, the slight advantage overall. They were together in the SEC tournament last year, and all they did was play 14 innings. I think it was over 2 days.
Yeah. That's right.
And Taylor Pleasance, the walk-off single to win it for the Tigers.
There were multiple extra inning games that day. I think set records.
At Auburn, yeah. Be in Georgia this year. Out to center field. Lassiter's got it. 2 down.
And this is the bat you want up right here for Alabama. Hevlin has been very good this year.
And that's why Tarina's, she almost went yard on a normal breezy day here. That would have been out. But she did chase Leno back to the track out in left field.
Yeah, Hevlin has seen the ball well off of Jaden. In fact, walked her first at bat, had that long fly ball that probably could have left the yard on a non-windy day. And so the discussion becomes, just as Alabama walked around Edwards, does LSU walk around Hevlin? Dukeshire has struck out on the rise ball and grounded out.
You did see some activity in the bullpen for LSU. Just in case. Tatum Clopton and Ashley Vallejo. But for right now, it's Hefner's jam to get out of. In for a strike.
Heavner not afraid to come right inside to Hevlin. It's one of the musts for left-handed pitchers to be able to throw on that inner half to right-handed hitters. And they come right back to her with the rise ball. They get the call in the upper part of the zone.
0-2. Oh, and that hitter. And the bases are loaded for Dukeshire. Doreen is arguing that that was a lean in over the plate.
I think she's trying to decide whether or not do I actually take a look at this, see where that pitch comes in. So it's coming up and inside, goes off the arm guard. I think she wants to know, was it in the zone?
We're going to play on. Single, a couple of free passes, and they are loaded for Abby Dukeshire. A strikeout and a ground out. 0 for 3 this season with the bases loaded. Yesterday she had a hit. It ended a streak of 3 consecutive games with a home run, but 3 of the last 4 are still pretty good. From the Bama perspective. Tiger faithful wanted the punch out.
Badger on behind home plate is just so good. Look at the way she's going to catch this and just move it back in. Say, come on. Let me steal that strike.
Dukeshire out in front. Another foul ball that will get into the bullpen this time.
Dukeshire getting around that pitch on the outer half of the plate.
Lays off the rise at the eyes, 2-2. Oh! Came up into the helmet of Dukeshire. That appears to be okay.
And that's why it's so important to have that chin guard or a face mask of some sort on your helmet, because you can see the lefty spin of the headland just coming up. Oh, and it actually hits on the ear flap. It doesn't even hit the chin guard because of the way, look at the way that she moves her head so she's actually open to it. Boy, and you can just hear that sound of that.
So the second hit batter in a row forces a run in as Hawkins scores, and now the tying run at third base with 2 outs. The go-ahead in scoring position for Alabama. And it's Maddie Hubbard who will hit for the second time. Lined out her first time up. She does have a couple of hits this year with the bases loaded. Two strikes. Got her right. So maybe that's a good spot for Patrick Murphy to bring her back into the circle. Alabama trying to even this series after they lost last night.
It's the Alabama team that really has played in a lot of big games this year, close games this year. And Coach talked about just
Knocked down by Brisky. Saved a base hit there. One down.
Huge play for Brisky, but just trying to limit the free passes. He said, look, if we can just cut the errors in half and the free passes, the walks in half, it's going to be able to just put us in a completely different position. And since they've done that, they've gotten a little bit better and had their opportunities to stay in games. Last night, that was not the case, but they've done a better job here this afternoon.
First pitch swinging for Daniel. Couple of ground outs. Infield creeping in.
Right side pulled up. Hawkins, Hubbard at third.
Sophomore out of Chandler, Arizona, so a Phoenix kid. So's Jocelyn Brisky. These two go way back. Played some travel ball together in their younger days. And now together again in the SEC. And a base hit for Daniel off of Brisky.
They've been working Daniel all on the outer half. This pitch just leaks back inside. Giles was set up outside, but you can see this pitch comes back on the inside. Daniel's just going to turn on it and smash it through that 3-4 hole for a base hit.
Slapper able to pull one to the right side. Here's Leno. I believe it's the Arizona Storm, Smitty.
Yeah,
look at that. Old so buds.
Cute. Too cute.
Daniel winning that showdown.
Yeah, known each other a long time. I think you always...
What was your travel ball team? I played for the Heart of New York. That was because we were in the central New York, in the heart of New York State.
That's awesome. I didn't. I always played women's major.
You
fast
went
pitch,
straight. Oh, she was so good, folks.
No.
She went straight to the breakettes for crying out loud.
I just started late. I played for a team called the Linden Majors, yes, and then the Budweiser Bells.
Yeah, my travel ball team was called the U.S. National Team. Does that count? The Budweiser what?
Bells.
Oh, I'm thirsty.
Yes. In fact, Karen Sancello-John, sitting right next to us, was my catcher, along and with Team USA.
She's in the
together.
stat seat, as she always is. 2-2 to Leno. KJ said she always loved catching for you. But then the post-game free beers from Budweiser was also a nice little perk. 2-2. Runner goes, and a stolen base for Daniel.
Daniel can be such a spark plug for the team. That's her 7th stolen base of the year. She just gets a good jump. And Giles just a little bit offline the way she comes up, sidearms that. Good job by Hawkins to try to make that tag.
3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, 2 down.
Good job by Brisky to get Leno to swing through this pitch. She's got some good late sharp movement on that. So a little bit of in, a little bit of down on that, but well located inside to the lefty.
Here's Avery Hodge in the 9s. 5-0. That's the first of a doubleheader they're playing today. They had to postpone yesterday's game due to some bad weather. And I think the LSU dugout has just been warned. An assistant coach challenging the strike zone.
Yeah, not allowed to argue balls and strikes.
Sometimes they will direct their comments towards their own batter in the batter's box, but the umpires, they can catch on to that kind of thing. Yep. And that was the conversation between pitches. Here's the 0-2.
To those today, 4 walks and 2 hit batters.
Beth Arena's going to stick with her here into the 6th. It's 6, 7, and 8 due up. Here's Caitlin Riley. Riley pops that one up, and that'll drift out towards Rudity, 1 down.
Really, when you look at what Hefner's done today, I mean, she's been outstanding. If she can clean up the free passes, and she gave up of the 2 hits, one of those was on an 0-2 pitch. So if she can clean up those, let's call them freshman mistakes or, maturity type factors that you learn the more that you're in the circle, I mean, she's going to be outstanding. She already is. She's got good late sharp movement, 7 strikeouts on the afternoon, controlling the nerves for the youngster, and as Coach Tarina said, it's tough being a pitcher in the SEC, no less a freshman pitcher in the SEC.
And those 7 strikeouts, 7 different players in the lineup. Did hold there. So she has been striking out lefties and righties today.
Giles, one of those batters that hasn't struck out yet, and that's, I mean, the body, that's the swing of the bat, not the body. The body made it look like she swung, but she did not.
Reaches out for that. Good scoop by Hodge. Beth Tarina, when Avery Hodge arrived from Oklahoma, she said, it was before the end of the first practice that we realized that Avery was going to be our new shortstop, replacing the great Taylor Pleasance, who's still around as a student assistant.
Avery.
There's Taylor. Said, all right, that's the way I used to do it too. Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad, new guy.
Glad I taught you some of that. Well, and you talk about the defense for LSU, only 25 errors on the year, a .973 fielding percentage coming into today. They've only turned 10 double plays, but part of the reason for that is that their pitchers have done a good job of not allowing a lot of runners on base. That small ERA.
Hefner looking for another 1-2-3 inning and get herself 3 outs away from a W. And there it is, Hodge. 2-1, LSU. The 3 times she's come up, he said, give me more coffee. I'm always on board with that plan.
But no espresso beans
no
allowed
espresso
for you.
beans.
That's an inside joke, folks. Coffee-covered espresso beans.
We only use that one on the internet.
That's right.
A single and a walk for Danica. Game 3 scheduled for tomorrow night. Coffee reaches out for it, and she's got her 2nd hit of the day.
That's just experience hitting right there, just being able to wait on this pitch. A little bit of an off-speed, hangs just a little bit, and she's going to be able to get her barrel through, drive that into right field. Just really good identification of the pitch and barreling it up.
Tigers now with their 4th leadoff batter of an inning to get on base. But again, the challenge has been getting them to touch all 4.
Yeah, just
10 lobs now?
Yep.
On the day?
Yeah, and just 3 for 17 with runners on.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Out in left field, 1 down.
Lauren Johnson is going to come a long way for this ball in left field. She sees this ball hang up. She starts in. Look at how far she is down toward the line. This ball well struck into the gap of really good defensive plays for Alabama to knock off a leadoff base hit. Great job by Giles to get that down to Hawkins on the 1 hop. It's gloved well. Look at the way how quickly she's getting rid of this. It 1 hops down. Hawkins gloves it up, applies the tag of Coffee for the tag out. 2nd out of the inning.
Can Alabama build on this? A little momentum shift into their final at-bat, perhaps?
Well, that's just the 2nd time Coffee had been caught stealing this year. And that's a great point, Beth, because one of the keys you think about is for the home team. If they could score in the bottom of the 6th, it's always like a nail in a coffin.
Little gut punch.
Yep, gut punch. And for the defensive team, you get some nice momentum coming off the field. Can it help you in the top of the 7th?
First, though, Brisky has to deal with Bajaran and possibly Edwards. The Smash Sisters. Full count. Bajaran to short, and Alabama will not allow.
She just is great presence for a freshman and has been able to work around any adversity or traffic. A couple of batters in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd. A clean 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd.
She's got Lauren Johnson, and then the top of the order for Alabama. Their 1 run coming in the 5th inning. It was generated by the bottom of the lineup. And some free passes by Heavner. Johnson goes the opposite way, down the line and fair, and the tying run is aboard for the Tide. And they'll pass the bat to the top of the order.
Well, Johnson just knowing what she's hunting, going up, hitting from that right side, pitch on the outer half, and just blasts it down the line. So a good job of staying inside this ball, barreling it up, getting it down just inside the line. Rudy, good job of getting there quickly and keeping Johnson at first.
And is that the end of the line for Heavner? Beth Torina looking down to the bullpen. And a good job to Jaden Heavner, and that looks like it will be all. So Alabama trying to put on some late pressure. And it's Sydney Berzon who got the complete game win yesterday, coming on in relief to try and close the door.
Well, and this is where these two are just such a good mix together, because you've got the lefty spin that's more up in the zone. Berzon is experienced, right-handed, very heavy drop down in the zone.
Contender for Pitcher of the Year in the SEC out of Buffalo, New York, will try and come on and get the series win for LSU. Nice hand from the crowd for Heavner.
Yeah, Heavner outstanding. I mean, as a freshman, he's definitely making some noise.
Well, this is what Sid did yesterday against Alabama in an 8-0 shutout win.
How about just 68 pitches and the 5-inning win? Just that sharp late movement of that drop ball. She mixes speeds a little bit more than what you saw for Hebner. So just a completely different look, but just so good and in control. No base on balls, 5 strikeouts, and worked around 4 hits in game number 1 of this series. So she's going to be in the high 60s. It's that heavy drop balls we talked about. She's going to throw it on both sides. You can't look just down though, because she also will throw a rise ball and a changeup, but she is very heavy drop. 64% of her pitches in the down part of the zone, 22 for that rise ball. and change up about 12% of the time.
Interesting move here for Torina. This is just her second relief appearance of the season. Has only worked 1 inning in relief. That was against Kentucky and kept him off the board. Audrey Vandegrift, who may be one of the fastest players in the country, will step in. She's walked twice. Tying run aboard for the Tide. Go ahead at the plate. Vandegrift looking to lay down the sacrifice. Not even the drag there to try and put a little pressure on the defense.
Yeah, or even a push or a slap,
yeah.
Get it past, because the corners, Coffey, Edwards coming in very strong.
Tries again and cannot advance the runner.
Well, and this is your job, especially as a left-handed hitter. You know, if you've got a teammate on first base, you've got to be thinking, okay, I didn't get the bunt down, but I need to get the ball down on the ground, get a ground ball to that right side to help you move your runner up.
May not be the worst thing for them. She's one of their best hitters, and instead pops this up, and that will get out of play.
Yeah, luckily for Audrey, that gets out of play, because that's the last thing you want. You do not want this ball up in the air in this particular situation.
Skies continue to darken. The winds continue to gust. 0-2, Vandegrift. Fly ball out to center, 1 down. And an unproductive out at the top of the order.
The NPOs, or the non-productive outs, are just, they're killers. You've got to get something when you're giving up those outs.
Here's Larissa Pruitt. Berzon not looking to waste any time, Smitty. Get in, get out.
She's so good, so efficient, like we talked about yesterday. Just those 68 pitches. Controls the zone.
Right back to her. And overthrows first base. And a runner's on second and third for Alabama with 1 out.
Well, Berzon, this ball hit right back to her. She didn't even look towards second. I'm actually kind of surprised that she didn't try to go for the lead runner and then just airmails that ball over. I'm not sure if it slipped out of her hand, but that throw, not even close. No opportunity for Edwards. So big opportunity, however, for Alabama here in the 7th.
Callie Hevlin, 0 for 1, has walked a couple of times. Alabama's leading home run hitter stepping in. Chance to get the Tide the lead here. One.
See if Berzon's able to settle in, and I've been in that situation where I've made an error and try to work yourself out of a jam.
They pitching around here. Bajaran was leaking out of the zone, and she's doing it again. Trying to get her to chase away. Callie's not having it. Looks like they'd rather throw to Dukeshire. Boy, you saw her glance back right there to see where the catcher was. She knew it was coming. Bases loaded. Top of the 7th for Alabama. And their number 4 hitter, Abby Dukeshire. Oh for 2, also got hit by a pitch. Berzon gets the swing and miss. She did get a hit off of Berzon last night. Well, you can see too, there's some redness on her cheek where the ball hit the side of the helmet and got a piece of her face her last time up. Ball mark right there on her chin. She hold? No, she did not. 2 down.
Berzon just doing a good job of using that drop, really hammering underneath the hand. She likes to go to that arm side of the plate, and you can see that Dukeshire goes around just enough. Huge second out. Base is still loaded for Alabama.
Monty Hubbard, 0 for 2. Second time today she comes up with the bases loaded for Alabama. Down to their final strike. This is her first